Hey guys, I'm going to share with you some of what I've learned about going through shit in relationships. And I'm not going to share specifics or anything in this video, but what I am going to share is currently where my own growth is and how this might apply to you. And I call this becoming a man. It's interesting how as you become more and more of an adult, or I should just say as you get older and should be definitely an adult by now, you know what I mean? When we think about ourselves, there's like this secret childish thing going on. And no judgment there, that's okay. In fact, I like a lot of the childish things, playful things, the good things, but here's where the immaturity factor influences our ability to really level up in our lives. Where the people who are really the greatest examples of humans that I can think of, if you're religious or not, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, like good examples of, in my opinion, to aspire to. Here's something that they all had in common. And here's something that a person who is more mature has more of, and that is the ability to stop whining. I'm going to come back to exactly what that means. Stop whining and look for the hidden justice in what's going on in their lives. That chunk right there, that's the crux of this video. So let's start with the whining. The stop whining. And now it literally means, but not only means the meh, 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 the whining that happens, okay? Of course, that's immature. Who does that? We do that when we're butthurt, when we're upset, when something that we think unjust happened to us, okay? But it's not just you can shut your mouth and not make any difference. And I remember wearing this bracelet a few years ago that my friend Shannon gave me, and it was like the whining bracelet, and you wear it on like your left hand, whatever it is, and the challenge is to not whine or complain at all for 30 days, and that shit's tough. And you put it on your right hand, and when you whine or complain, you put it back on the left hand. You start at day one again, and you try to keep it on the right hand for 30 days, and that's tough. I don't think I ever made it. Maybe 10 days or something like that, and that was tough. It's really tough. So, but the point is, I could have made it 30 days. I could have made it 90 days. I could have made it forever, and it wouldn't make a difference in my life. It wouldn't make any difference in my life. Zero. Why is that? Because it's unless I changed the mental habit of blaming my circumstance for something outside of me, then no change happened. Because the words themselves are cheap. Talk is cheap. But the energy behind them is more impactful, and what comes before, so it goes the words, what comes before that is the energy. What comes before that is the thought, and that's what matters. It's the thought. So if you have the thoughts that something is wrong, you're fucked. If you have the thought that somebody wronged you, you're fucked. You're not going to change it. The only thing you can hope to do is put a Band-Aid and change that one circumstance, but you're going to repeat it again because you're the kind of person who doesn't have that area of their life in their own conscious control. And our thoughts are what manifest everything in our life. We're not going to get into this too much on the video, but in short, think about anything you have in your life, your relationship, your money, your housing, the clothes you're wearing right now, the shirt you're wearing right now. You're only wearing it because it started with a thought. I'll put that shirt on. Or something more subtle than that. The house you're in, you must have looked for it, or at the very least decided to get in your car and drive over to it. Whatever it is, that's for another, best saved for another video. But That's the whining. It's the thought, the feeling, right? And so that's an immature thing to do. And so what else can we do? Well, the mature man, and I say man in a not like penis man way. I mean it just as to show a contrast between a child and adult. But adult up doesn't sound as impactful as man up. So we could call it woman too, as opposed to girl. The difference is this. When you decide not to whine, where does that attention go? If whining says something outside of me is causing something, the converse of that is that you take responsibility for everything going on. What a shift that is. So once you stop whining, it allows you to look for what inside of you is allowing this circumstance to happen. And that starts with your thoughts. So we stop whining. It gives us the power to look inside of ourselves and identify the shortcoming that we have. And when I say shortcoming is only for you to decide. But if you're feeling bad, then something is off, right? So I'll call that a shortcoming. You get to look inside yourself and find what it is you're doing that's allowing yourself to feel like this. You're maybe allowing a circumstance into your life because of fear of leaving, because of fear of saying something, or more commonly, it's not that we allow the circumstance in our life, it's that we allow the meaning behind that circumstance into our psyche. And that is 100% within our control. If a bum says to you, "Hey, idiot," you kind of just, you won't even remember that. You just keep walking. So a homeless dude on the street who's smelly, drooling at himself goes, "Yeah, you're an idiot." You don't really think about it. If your spouse looks at you and says, "You're an idiot," we're more likely to get upset there, okay? It's the same word, so it's not the circumstance. It's really not the circumstance. But the meaning we attach to it. We don't attach much meaning to the drooling homeless bum in the alley who says that. We attach a lot of meaning to it when someone we care about. And when we start looking at what we're doing to allow that feeling into our life, again, to either allow us to be in the presence of that circumstance, that's not preferable, or more likely, why we're allowing that meaning to be attached. When you do that, you start skyrocketing in maturity level, in spiritual development. And that is what I mean when I say mature. So how does this relate to your relationship? I don't know how it relates to your relationship. I know how it relates to mine right now is that in general, things are very good. But I noticed a pattern in all my relationships, at least most of them, where something that I can very easily justify as being not cool, wrong, hurtful, whatever, you know. And everybody would agree. I can state it in a way that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who agrees. It doesn't matter anything. The fact that I think that some reaction that I have is caused by what someone else did or said or didn't do or didn't say. And I have a reaction to it. And I feel that. And it's caused by them. So I have to go to them and point out the thing that they did in the hopes of either cutting it, keep it from happening again, or creating a new behavior that doesn't trigger me. By doing that, even though it seems like even if I come to it with love, and if I come to it with objectification of what we're doing, with productivity in mind, with a hug, even if I come to it and show up like that, but then address the problem as if it's anything other than what I'm allowing into my life. And you can't address that with your partner. You can address it with yourself. So instead of your partner, you can just talk to yourself. Talk to your deeper part of yourself. And find out, why is it that you are doing this, allowing this into your life? And when you find the answer, it's normally one of few things, one of 5 basic needs that we all have that isn't being met or is being threatened. Because we all meet our needs in some ways, but we meet it in a negative way sometimes. So if we're feeling victimized, normally, I'm not going to go too far into this, but by feeling victimized, we protect a part of ourselves that makes us feel more secure about how bad they are and how good we are. Righteous. So we feel more significant. We feel more secure. For example, whatever it is, talking to your partner about it, how good does that work? How many dramatic fucking conversations that go on for hours have you had with your partner, even in the last couple weeks? I know I've had some dramatic, long, fucking one night, 4-hour, dramatic, long conversation about what's going on. And those 4 hours would have been better spent in meditation. Those 4 hours would have been better spent listening to music and going for a walk, because I would have been happier, in a greater state. And whatever we focus on grows. Where focus goes, energy flows, the saying. You've heard this before. Why focus on the shit that someone else did and grow that and expand it and make it into this big monster until we're like, wow, that's such a big monster. I gotta cut it, and I'm gonna leave this horrible relationship, never to experience that abuse again. Well, you probably will. Instead, all of that energy highlighting the negative could be turned inside. And even if a fraction of that energy is used for introspection, to figure out, to have the conversation with yourself of why you're allowing that, what need is being met by allowing that energy into your life. 10 minutes of that as opposed to 4 hours of that will flip-flop, totally change your life. So that's all I wanted to share. I'm going through this a lot with myself right now. I've always been going through this a lot. It's something that I see with all of my clients. It's something that I see with everybody in my life. I'm sure that most of you can relate. If you're feeling bad in your relationship, there's a lot of energetic reasons why that's happening, but for almost all of you, your partner is doing something or not doing something, saying or not saying something. And that makes you feel a certain way. If that's true, then I encourage you to shift a little bit of focusing on what they did, what they said, what it means, how to solve it, and putting that just inside and asking yourself what need is being met by allowing this into my life. And understand that it is you who allows that feeling to be experienced. Thanks for watching. Post any questions, discussion below, and we'll do it. Good night.